These nuts.
Godzilla 1954, the movie that started the whole Godzilla franchise. This movie, in my opinion, aged like fine wine. Even though this movie was made back then in the year 1954, Godzilla has a good story with strong human characters like Dr. Serizawa, Ogata, and Emiko. They make the story feel more real in my opinion. And plus, I like how they give 100% effort with their roles, especially with the character Dr. Serizawa. Even though he doesn't have that much screen time and only appears in the second half of the movie, he is still my favorite character in the film. Reasons being, he's actually a unique type of character. Unlike the common mad scientist cliche from old movies, Dr. Serizawa was more grounded as a character in my opinion. Examples being the creation of the oxygen destroyer. Even though he was the one who accidentally made the oxygen destroyer, he knows his responsibilities as a human to not abuse his own power for the betterment of mankind and to not let the oxygen destroyer to get in the wrong hands. But unfortunately, he needs to sacrifice himself to save his country by using the oxygen destroyer to kill Godzilla. It's a shame that modern day Godzilla movies don't really have complex and likable, rememberable human characters that are very similar to Dr. Serizawa or the rest of the Japanese cast, in my opinion. Human characters in new Godzilla movies are kinda bit like this, generic bystanders who are very forgettable in the film. But I hope for the future, new Godzilla movies will have more better human characters. Anyways, let's talk about more stuff about the movie that I do like. Like for example, the music. The music in Godzilla 1954 has a mix of military marches composed by trumpets that are very catchy to listen to be honest. But this soundtrack has some dark tracks that make your skin crawl because on how creepy it sounds. These tracks play when Godzilla appears and attacks Tokyo. Now, let's talk about the tone on this Godzilla movie. And Jesus Christ, this movie is very dark for a Godzilla film. In other Godzilla films, they showed Godzilla just destroying the city and never showed the aftermath of the destruction that he made. But in this movie, oh boy, it's much more darker. They show the aftermath and it's very dark. And examples like a mother in the middle of a Godzilla attack and telling her two daughters they will go to heaven because of Godzilla's wrath. Or another scene where a little girl is crying because her own mother died in front of her. But scenes like these, geez, they really give me chills down my spine. But I think it's meant to be that way, knowing that the main point of the movie is the consequences of nuclear weapons. And plus, in fact that Godzilla is a metaphor of the nukes themselves. So yeah, this movie is very, very dark. So if I were you, you should have a certain mindset before watching this movie. And another thing to mention, in my opinion, I think the oxygen destroyer is a metaphor for next generation military weapons. Because think about it, the oxygen destroyer literally killed Godzilla in one shot. And since we both know that Godzilla is a metaphor for nukes, the oxygen destroyer shows us maybe in the future, maybe there might be a weapon that is much more deadlier than a nuke. So, in conclusion, Godzilla 1954 is still a masterpiece. Even though it's a very old movie, it still teaches us a very powerful lesson about the consequences of using nuclear weapons in war. But I think you really need a certain mindset before watching this movie because it's not like your average Godzilla film. This movie is dark, creepy, and has a strong political message. Well, that's it for me. Join me next time for my review on the next Godzilla movie, Godzilla Raids Again, or Gigantus the Fire Monster. Well, see you guys next time.
With a crazy rap skill, get ready to rumble. Now be the time, if you ain't know, now you know. Good luck, fellas. Do the impossible, see the invisible. Row, row, fight the power. Touch the untouchable, break the unbreakable. Row, row, fight the power. What you wanna do is what you wanna do. Just break the rule, then you see the truth. You see the thing, cheap, baby. Row, row, fight the power. Second verse dedicated to the real peeps. What we gotta say is so real thing, cause revolution ain't never gonna televise. Kicking a map, whoa, microphone phenotype, opening third eye, seeing through the overground.